Well, hello, everyone. I'm Jill Bloom, Group Publisher of Roofing Contractor, Walls and Ceilings, and Building Enclosure. Thank you so much for joining me. This is an incredibly important conversation I'm going to have here right now with the CEO of Cotney Attorneys and Consultants, Trent Cotney. Trent, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Jill. We've got some big news here.
We do. Today's a very big day. The Supreme Court just ruled on the mandates that have been happening that we've on the ETS. We've all been waiting on pins and needles to figure out what they're going to say. It just came down. Can you give us an update? What did they say?
Sure. Some of the best news I've received in the last few years. So the Supreme Court came down in a 6-3 vote, said that they were blocking the OSHA emergency temporary standard that would have required any employer with over 100 employees to either vaccinate or test. And the basis for them doing that was, primarily that OSHA had exceeded its authority in its jurisdiction. OSHA is designed to regulate, workplace hazards, but is not designed to deal with public health crisis. And you and I were talking earlier. I think that regardless of what you think about the OSHA emergency temporary standard, if you apply the law, this is the correct ruling. And I have said that from the very beginning. I was astonished at the Sixth Circuit opinion. It was a policy-based decision, but this is exactly the correct decision, the application of the law to this OSHA emergency temporary standard. They exceeded their authority. And that's what I thought when the thing came out. And, praise God, the Supreme Court has come down and said the same thing. So.
Yes, it sounds like it would have been an administrative nightmare for contractors or anybody with a small business over 100 employees.
Right. And one of the biggest things, Jill, is my phone's been ringing off the hook because we had a lag period here where the majority of the rule went into effect January 10th, but the Supreme Court just ruled today. So everyone's scrambling, trying to figure out what to do, what not to do. I've even had assistant area directors and COSHO investigators, contact me and off the record ask me what did they think. So even they didn't know what to do. So right. Very, very good news for construction. We needed a win, Jill, and this is a win.
Yes, it was a big win. So if I was a contractor over 100 employees and I started doing all this paperwork to try to get ready, does that mean that I can stop everything that I was doing and it's going to be done and over with?
Well, I one thing that you can rest assured about the government is that they don't take no lightly, and I anticipate that there may be different ways that they approach this. There are a lot of tools that the Biden administration has, everything from executive orders to other type of agency action. And what's interesting is while the Supreme Court ruled against the OSHA ETS, they upheld the healthcare vaccine mandate. So I could see continued, this might be death by 1,000 cuts. My advice to contractors listening to this is all the stuff that you did in preparation is probably good. Knowing who's vaccinated and who's not, it's probably worthwhile because at some point you might need to, man a job with a vaccinated crew. So just be vigilant. Obviously, stay tuned because I anticipate there will be more regulation as it relates to vaccines, mandates, and testing.
So if the Biden administration still comes out and says, I want, contractors should still move forward with an ETS of their own and push them to still do an ETS, what does that mean? Does that mean they can just say they can stop, they can still stop what they're doing, correct?
Yeah, so the OSHA ETS is dead in its tracks, right? So you can't appeal it to anywhere else. The U.S. Supreme Court is as high as you go, right? So at this point, the Biden administration could do a variety of different things, and they could specifically focus on executive orders that looks to focus on sectors, right? Sectors of certain industries. They could potentially do some traditional rulemaking on expanding the infectious disease standard, right? And creating some additional PPE requirements. But they're not going to be able to do a broad brushstroke OSHA ETS because the same exact analysis that went into shooting this down would shoot that down.
Well, that's good news. Well, yes. So again, Trent, thank you so much for giving us a quick overview on that. The ETS has been shot down. Thank you, Supreme Court. We're very glad to hear that. If anybody has any questions for Trent, make sure you reach out to him at cotneycl.com. If you have any questions for us, it's roofingcontractor.com, wconline.com, or buildingenclosureonline.com. And everyone, please stay safe and healthy. We look forward to talking to you next time, especially when we have important rulings like this. Thanks again, Trent.